Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Disputes, Debates, and Determination, Unraveling the Legal Mind. We have with us Sameer Bindra, Senior Associate Dispute Resolution at Khaitan Company. In the fast paced world of law, where every argument matters and each case is a battle of wit and logic, some lawyers stand out for their expertise, passion, and ability to navigate the complexities of the legal system. Sameer has carved a niche for himself in the field of arbitration, litigation, and corporate disputes. With years of experience handling high stake cases and a sharp legal mind, Sameer is not just an advocate in the courtroom, but also a mentor, writer, and thought leader in the legal industry. Join us as we discover his personal professional journey and his intriguing aspects of his legal career. So, welcome Sameer to today's coffee conversation.
Thank you for having me here.
So, let me explain you the flow and the format. It is divided into three parts: professional journey round, personal journey round, and there is rapid fire, the fun round,
Right.
for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick, and you will get your gift also.
Right.
But you have to win it. So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, and SMEs with world class technology solutions, software licensing, and tech training. And we are at AWFI's co working space. And my first question for you, Sameer, in the professional journey round: what inspired you to pursue law, and how has your journey evolved over the years?
Thank you for the question. So for me, it's always been, analytical thinking, and I always wanted to be in a profession where it requires, somebody who's solving problems and leaving an impact in the society. How has the journey been so far? Journey has been, long story short, it's been good, but it's been, a bumpy ride because each matter and each case has its own challenges. Uh, yeah, so that has the journey been so far. I mean, each matter revolves different complexities, and it's a different journey altogether.
Wow.
So no two cases according to me are similar.
Wow. So, Sameer, you have experienced both corporate litigation and criminal law. What are the major differences in approach and mindset required for each?
I think so far as corporate litigation is concerned, it's more document heavy than somebody who's dealing with criminal law aspect, because it requires knowledge, great knowledge of somebody's personal rights, constitutional rights, as well as statutory knowledge. And in terms of initial dealing with criminal matters aspect, you have to deal with a lot of agencies. So far as corporate litigation is concerned, like I said, because the era that we are in right now, most of the things are documented, so it requires analysis of different documents, key issues that emerge from those documents, a very good strategy in initially in terms of laying down your basis in your pleadings. Thereafter you lead evidence, thereafter you present arguments. So in terms of dealing with criminal law and corporate litigation, that's the key difference, that corporate law litigation can be document heavy. You're expected to present your case in a pleading in a much better fashion, because that sets the tone for your entire matter and the entire litigations tomorrow when you argue the matter in court. Criminal law, I feel, again, like obviously strategy is completely different. You have to deal with a lot of agencies. You sometimes you may have to go and make a visit to the police station to inquire about the case. Thereafter, it starts from the lower judiciary itself. While on in a corporate litigation matter, sometimes you're, because of the pecuniary jurisdiction or because of other jurisdictional issues, you can file a case directly before a high court, and you can directly get an audience before say a senior court in that sense.
Wow.
So yeah.
So, Sameer, what are some of the major challenges and differences you have encountered when dealing with international arbitration cases?
I think one key challenge, apart from obviously the legal complexities and procedure being different in different jurisdiction, one thing is culture. A lot of time, how you present your argument would be completely different than a foreign lawyer presenting its argument. While sometime you may think that it's very monotonous and a person is arguing only in the same tone. Like in India, we tend to have different intonations when we're arguing a matter. In terms of laying emphasis on a certain point, you may have a higher pitch and you may sound aggressive in. So that's just a cultural shift, because you may not realize that what point is being argued and what emphasis he's giving on one argument when somebody is arguing in a same tone. So culture is it sets a lot of different sub points as well. For example, the way person pleads his case in a pleading may not be as similar to how we plead it in India. I've seen jurisdictions where people do plead their cases in a very simplistic language format. They don't use legal jargons, they don't use extra legal terminology, just so that the expression that they put on paper completely does justice to the person who's reading it. So it should be as reflective of what your idea is. In India, we tend to use probably a lot of legal terms. Sometimes I've seen older formats or wherein people have written like paragraphs and paragraphs on one point maybe 10 times repetitively, just so that the point conveys across. So these are just different things that I witness when we do international matters, that the culture sets the tone for different aspects of the litigation.
Wow. So, Sameer, with India pushing for arbitration friendly reforms, what key trends do you foresee in dispute resolution?
Right. That's an interesting question, and something which involves my practice area. So I'll deal with it in two parts. Let's see the emerging trends of arbitration in India. What I see is that the hybrid format of arbitration is something that is coming up. India is also pushing for mediation alongside arbitration. So there have been precedents abroad wherein formats such as arbitration, mediation, arbitration, these are working really well, and India is adopting those formats. I'll just take a minute and explain what these formats are for the audience. So Aab Med Aab is a concept where a party may start with an adversarial litigation process by submitting their case to an arbitrator, and thereafter moves to mediation, where they explore opportunities to settle their case in case the case can be settled, and in case the case is not settled, the matter is referred back to arbitration. There can also be instances where a part of the matter is settled in mediation, and only certain parts of the disputes are still left to be decided. Thereafter, they go to arbitration and they fight those issues out in the arbitration. Why it is important and why this is relevant is because in today's age, time is money. So the longer a matter is spent in, the longer matter goes on in a court or in an arbitration, not just the clients get frustrated, but they're losing out on a lot of time, opportunity, money, a lot of value additions that they could have done in their company, having not litigating that matter. So it's just a different way and a newer age method to resolving the dispute. In terms of approaches, definitely complete different approaches when you're approaching a case for an arbitration as against when you're trying to redress a dispute in mediation. Because in an arbitration, you have to be obviously not just defensive but offensive as well. You have to put forth your case. You have to put forth the weaknesses of the other side's arguments. You have to analyze the law on your part as well as the law on the other side. While in a mediation, you don't have to be very legal. It is about collaborative, coming together, sitting across the table and trying to find a solution which works best for both the parties. That's not the same as when you enter a court or enter in an arbitration, because there you're there to win a matter for your client and not to make a win-win for both the sides. So that's the strategic difference in terms of arbitration and mediation. And I think these hybrid processes in India will change or is rather being adopted and should change the landscape of the disputes in India.
Wow. So, Samir, can you share a case that challenged you the most and how you navigated it?
Right. See, while we're not allowed, as lawyers to, reveal confidential information and all, there have been some unique cases wherein, parties are based abroad, jurisdiction is of a different country, and there have been some issues that are arising in India. So, those are the cases which, is primarily challenging in terms of not just understanding complexities of different jurisdictions. Sometimes it can be, as simple as time zone differences, because your client may expect something in the morning while you're, it's late in the night here, and in next morning you are also expected to be in court as well, because court starts in the morning. And so usually these cross jurisdictional matters, wherein there are two litigations happening, probably one in India and one in Singapore, or maybe one in UK, and it's happening parallel. So when the court is sitting here, parties are probably working at the back end in UK, and vice versa. So I believe these are the sort of very challenging cases.
So, Samir, who was influenced you from the arbitration world?
Right. So I am still a student of arbitration, and two of our Supreme Court judges, Justice Nariman and Justice Krishnan, the way they have put in expression towards development of arbitration in India, it's always an inspiration reading their pieces. Justice Nariman on judicial front has given a lot of clarifications on law, which was rightly demanded, especially for international clients who needed a lot of clarity on key issues like seat and venue. For the audience, I'll just explain these two concepts. So seat is a designation of artificial you know laws that are applicable to your arbitration. You can choose a seat of arbitration by consent. Parties can decide what seat would be, and that seat will decide the current law that will govern the arbitration. A venue is just a a place where parties can sit, or where they can conduct their arbitration as per their comfort. uh, Justice Krishnan has also, if my memory is correct, had published a report, or a law commission report on institutionalization of arbitration. Now, institutionalization is very much required, and I think there have been since then a lot of institutes that have come up in India. uh, Something that Singapore gazed long back, and SIAC being one of the dominant players in the market in terms of institutes which administer the arbitration. India is also picking up. That report was a very good piece, wherein he's not just highlighting a lot of issues that are there in the Indian arbitration field right now, and why institutionalization is important, and what are the key things that the legislative reforms can do in order to address this concern. So I'm a true believer that institutes would change the entire landscape, and these are two key people who have addressed a lot of these issues and concerns, and try and fix them.
Wow. So, Samir, how is AI impacting the world of arbitration?
I feel, I think it's a lot of people are saying that disrupting the legal industry and all. I believe that not just in arbitration, but all aspects of law, they're helping a lawyer becoming a more and more smarter lawyer, and helping your client give a really qualitative document, or a pleading, or any product that a client requires. One key thing I think that AI, or a lot of these technology eliminates is that human error. That even though you read a document maybe 1,000 times, there can still be some errors, which an AI would completely remove them, and make a document impeccable. Because a lot of sometimes these grammatical error, not just now but tomorrow when a document is in dispute, can change an entire interpretation of how a document is reading. So at that grassroots level, if a technology can help a lawyer eliminate these issues, thereafter obviously we have come across a lot of softwares now. A lot of law firms are building their own internal softwares in order to help lawyer becoming more advanced, and deliver their products in a better fashion. and better products for the clients. It's also one of the time is money for lawyers. So in terms of reducing the effort and time, all of these softwares are helping lawyer to reduce their time in preparing a document or preparing for a case. Earlier I remember we would take probably week to analyze the document that a client has thrown at you. The Just in terms of the size of and volume of those documents, read, analyze, probably prepare like relevant material on those documents, prepare list of dates and documents, cross refer all those documents, prepare it in a chronological manner. So all those things were very laborious for a lawyer initially. And with technology, with the advent of technology, all of the time that we were spending on these things have drastically reduced, which gives us a lot of time to think beyond what the documents are saying, beyond like all of these difficulties, and maybe get even more qualitative and quality input for your client in that given time span. So yes, it is helping a lawyer not just in arbitration but in the entire diaspora of legal services practices. In specifically in terms of arbitration, I feel navigating through voluminous pleadings, because a lot of time construction arbitrations and industry specific arbitration tend to run in volumes and volumes and volumes of documents, especially arbitrations wherein the dispute has arisen after a lot of years of parties exchanging documents, parties exchanging pleading letters or other correspondences. So there it really helps us maybe navigating those documents in a better fashion and more efficient fashion. And sometimes there is always a risk of missing out on an important document, which the technology obviously helps us eliminate all of these other aspects apart from the aspects that I just mentioned. So yes, if you ask me one particular software, honestly, I'm really bad at remembering names, but personally, the law firm that I work in, we are developing our own, softwares. There is one software by the name of Kai that Khaitan and company has developed. Because a lot of time these open, forum, what do you call, open source softwares, they're not. They don't tend to keep confidential information confidential, because just by the name itself they're open source. So sometime your data, your client's sensitive data can be in bad hands. Therefore, I think Indian law firms are primarily developing their own softwares, AI based softwares to help their clients.
Yeah, many law firms are like Nisha Desai, NIDA, then apna Aditya Birla in-house team, Vidhi for the research firm. Yeah, so many top law firms are coming up with their AI, and they are focusing, especially the legal teams, to train them how to use ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini for the research work, and how to come up with the keywords. Like AI is all about prompt engineering. What kind of inputs you give, that output will come up.
That's true.
So it is all about this. Yeah, AI is an enabler.
Just to add one point here, I just remember, back in the days, a senior, when he would give us research, would give us key terms to put on, let's say, a Manupatra or an SEC online. And those key terms would help us, navigating through a lot of judgments to assess that this is important and that is important. Now, maybe not all key terms or keywords would, it's just hit and try. But now when you can express what you really want on a software, it's literally like me going and asking a librarian, okay, can you do you have a book on this? And then, okay, fine, these are four five books, can you help me look up this particular article, or this sort of an article. So that way is that interface in terms of asking and responding to your specific and customized requirement is really impressive.
Yeah, it is now all in the digital format, so it is time saving. All those voluminous books have come now in PDF, library.
Right.
I manage that apna ye practice management, all those things, they are there. Now let's go to your interesting two journeys. What made you be a judge at Moot competition? my first question. Second will be, how do you think moods shape the next generation of lawyers?
Right. So since my law school days, I have been, an avid mooter. I used to take part in a lot of these extra co-curricular activities because my college that I had gone to, Government Law College, Mumbai, also gives that flexibility, in terms of participating in a lot of these competitions. Because I thought, one of the most important skill set as a litigation lawyer is to be able to present your arguments in court. And like I said, it's a skill, and skill requires practice. So the more that you practice, the better that skill shapes up tomorrow. So I always found these competitions to be replica of what really happens in the real world. And you can't just be put in a real world battle and expect that you argue as good as somebody who's arguing after 15, 16 years of practice. So yes, definitely these are great practices. Why I judge moot courts is it's also helpful for me because a lot of these students have researched on a critical issue over months. So when you see students arguing on a contentious point, which has been researched, fine tuned, they've rehearsed their arguments for a couple of weeks and months and all. As a judge, not just I am giving it back to them by giving my analysis, but I am also learning at the same time. Because when you sit as a judge, you also absorb a lot of legal arguments and legal research being thrown at you in a limited span of time. So it's a great format till now for me to learn as well as give it back to the students, because I was helped back then by a lot of my seniors. A lot of lawyers had taken out their time, judged my moot court, and given me critical feedback, which really helped me at that point in time shape up my area of practice. Or in terms of arguments also, okay, which argument to pitch, which argument not to pitch, when to not overthrow your argument. So it's a way of giving back at the same time learning for me.
Wow. So now let's come to your another journey. You have authored several publications. How important is writing for a lawyer's career? And do you have a favorite piece that you have written?
Right. Um, I used to be associated with PLC UK, and that was my journey to starting of writing legal articles. I used to publish a lot of updates and changes in Indian arbitration, on the Indian arbitration law front for them, and more like a correspondent for them who would cover a lot of pieces that is happening in India. Really started enjoying, because today when I look back and I see my first article, I see that how the thoughts have changed, how my legal writing has evolved over a period of time. Like I just said, that it's a skill. It's a skill where you present your argument. At the same time, you should be able to express your expression on a piece of paper as well, because that's the first thing that a judge would read. Or in terms of a corporate law, that the most important thing is the contract between parties. So legal writing is key essential for being a lawyer. You have to over a period of time with a lot of practice, yeah, what do you call, become a better legal writer. And articles, I think, is the best way of going about it. And also in terms of analyzing key critical issues and putting it in one piece of paper helps evolving your thought process, which maybe once you put on paper, like you think completely different of when you're thinking it in your head.
Wow. So, do you have any plans of writing a book in the future? And
Always.
what will be the title?
um I don't think like writing a book, but I really want to write like a short concise summaries on changes in Indian arbitration that has happened over a period of time. It's just that finding like a niche topic, spending time building subtopics. Execution of arbitration is one of my key arbitration awards is one of my key interests. I've researched a lot on it because there are a lot of problems that emerge, especially when there are cross-border execution issues that emerge. Uh, why I'm saying this is because, the second leg of litigation is more important for a client than the first leg. The second leg is, execution of awards, execution of degrees. That's where a client would really enjoy the fruit of a litigation, because just a paper degree or a paper award may not be that important for a client in real life, because it's really the rewards or the fruits that are attached to it. So I have analyzed critical issues. It's just that, with our day-to-day life, and the challenges that comes with each case, getting that dedicated time is a key challenge to finish and write this book.
Stop. Okay, let's go to the next round and understand Sameer as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
Right. So I come from a North India Punjabi family. My parents stay in Gurgaon. I have a elder brother who comes from a tech background. Initial day schooling has been in Gurgaon itself. I studied at Delhi Public School, Gurgaon. Thereafter, I did my law from the Government Law College, Mumbai. Uh, Third year, I signed my articleship for becoming a solicitor with Juris Corp. After articling, I moved to, I've spent a couple of years at Juris Corp. Thereafter, I worked with Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas, and presently I'm working at Khaitan Co. So
Wow.
that's the journey been in short.
So, Sameer, after a long day of work, what's your way to unwind?
So music has always been constant for me. So the one of the ways to unwind for me is come back, listen to good music. Sometimes I also enjoy mixing music. That's one of my hobbies. I used to do that back in college and school days. I have started that again recently, and I'm really enjoying that. Well, that's an escape from a day-to-day, work and your, activities at work.
So, can you briefly take us a mixing of music and like what kind of songs and do you have an interest to be a DJ?
Well, in house parties, definitely yes, but I don't have an aspiration to, probably become a DJ at, a professional DJ, like, so, to put it that way. But I like mixing music probably just for that, enjoyment at that moment itself. I mix electronic music, preferably house music, and techno music, which is something recently has come up with, like integration of music and technology. So there are different beats that you have on your laptop, and which is plugged into your own instrument. I use a Pioneer deck, on which, like, a left hand side would be playing a different beat, right hand side you would be playing a different beat, and then you have to mix it in order to make it a good symphony.
Wow. So when we meet next time, we'd like to ये है कि do that in give a live demo.
Definitely.
So-
I'm still learning, so if the music sounds a little bad, I'm apologizing that.
We have got one coffee speaker. He has got his own band.
Right.
So he is working with what do you say into niche area of law firm management and legal branding.
Okay.
So during his weekend days, they perform with his band at ye clubs. So that was very interesting. Ki bhai, like my earlier coffee speaker said, ki bhai, we are not dull people. So that's what I want to put it across to the viewers across. Ki lawyers don't lead a dull life. They have got
Definitely.
their own creative interests which are hidden.
Definitely.
So-
I in fact know so many lawyers who are very sports enthusiasts. They play like really good football alongside like really challenging working hours. They still take out that time after late at night at work. They play football in different leagues and different formats as well. In fact, we have so many events in our law firm. Sports events in law firm where you will see really competitive cricket skills and football skills being played.
That's interesting. So, Sameer, do you have a pump up song before ye leading into an arbitration case?
A pump up song.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you come again? What do you mean by Pampak song?
Your any song which helps you charged up.
Right.
Ke, हाँ.
So early morning, I think my drive to office is just full of like really enthusiastic techno music. I listen to like upbeat music in the morning so that when I'm going to the court, I'm already like high on energy,
Okay.
and I have that boost early morning so that I can deliver arguments, or I can probably finish a draft much early in the time. So yeah, I mean, not one particular song, but like it's usually mix of like upbeat songs in the morning in my car on high volume. It just gives me that adrenaline rush alongside like a lot of caffeine that lawyers drink.
Okay. So, Sameer, suppose you have 1 month off from uh, arbitration, litigation, and away from your gadgets. What would you like to do and why?
I would like to be in nature for sure. Anywhere where I can see crude nature, and at the same time I am socially disconnected from work. I have limited connected connectivity to my loved ones and people I want to talk to. At the same time, I'm enjoying myself in the nature, unwinding myself in the nature. So whenever I am not working, I definitely try and take a trip, and preferably in locations and destinations which are crude nature than typical cities, and something which is more metropolitan. So that's my way of unwinding myself.
Wow. So, let's discover how much you know about Mumbai. You have spent years in Mumbai. Do you have a go to food place to have some street food or any restaurant?
Yes. So me and my wife, we really like going to Arya Bhavan. There, that South Indian food is something, and one thing that we really like is their puri idli, ghee puri idli. So that's sometime like a go-to weekend place every weekend if we can't think of a breakfast place or whatever. We just line up at Arya Bhavan, and also it's just very close to our house.
So, besides Arya Bhavan,
Right.
what? So, this was about the food. Uh, what other things you like in Mumbai? You have spent so much time in Mumbai.
Right. So like the Kirti College Vada Pav is one of the famous ones. Then Mithi Bhai dosas, while doing law, when we do a lot of these competitions where we get to, participate in different colleges. Whenever I'm in that area, I would, eat those vada pavs. Then in Juhu, there is this place called Amar Pav Bhaji. It's a stall,
Yeah.
close to the Juhu beach. Then there is one place in Khar. They sell these things called lafafas. It's like a paratha but with a lot of stuffing. I'm forgetting the name. I'll definitely get back to you. It's in one of those Lincoln roads. I had a Lincoln Road on, I think, right inside. I think 12th or the 13th car road.
Wow. So many interesting
Yeah, I'm a
street food.
Punjabi. I'm a very big foodie by heart.
Okay. So, Sameer, do you enjoy legal movies or shows? And which one is your favorite?
Um, there was a very there was an old show on litigation called The Practice, and I think that's very close to what really happens in the real world, because a lot of these legal fictions are filled with drama. Yeah, like suits being one. Apart from the drama aspect, the real world connectivity is very less. So when I see that happening in the real world, for me there is always that gap that okay, this is pure drama. Practice, on the other hand, was, I think it's a TV show of, I think, about 8 to 10 seasons, and each episode is like a different case altogether, wherein a prosecutor is filing you know presenting its argument in the court, and it's more to do with like court craft in the court than drama that happens behind the scenes. So that's one of my favorite shows that I would want to watch repeatedly again. Second one is Boston Legal. It's mix of both. You get to see a lot of court craft as well, alongside some good humorous drama. So yeah, these are the two popular shows, or something that are always on my list, or when I'm traveling for matters, they're always downloaded on my iPad, and I see one of these episodes on my flights.
Wow. I can't recollect the name. I just recently watched this movie on Netflix where Gene Hackman is there, Dustin Hoffman is from the a prosecutor side, and there is this jury which we don't have in
Right,
Indian legal
yeah.
system.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, but the research work had Gene Hackman got the team. They were doing about for for the lawyers back end team. They were following the technical team they had outside watching the drama, what is happening in the court. But how Dustin Hoffman does his setting with the one of the jurors and wins the case. So it was beautifully played out. Both actors are wonderful actors, Dustin Hoffman and Gene Hackman. But after he loses a case, he meets with the juror, how he does the playing around. So actually, what happens in the court and behind the scenes, very beautiful movie, which I'll just try to Google and put in the link also. Very beautifully played, and how he manipulates the jurors. अपना ये he's also a very beautiful actor. So, okay.
One thing I'll recommend you now, given that we're talking about technology, how courts have also picked up in terms of broadcasting their cases online now. There are a lot of jurisdictions, especially like Supreme Court of those jurisdictions, where you get to see like really good constitutional qualitative arguments. I think our Supreme Court also has a broadcasting link now where they, broadcast the constitutional matters. And it's very interesting to see some of these lawyers arguing and presenting like craft arguments in court. I mean, it's learning at one hand, and it's also, interesting to watch them.
Wow, that's interesting to know. Thank you for sharing that. That will be really helpful for students to watch instead of going to court. They're sitting at home and watching live broadcast. So my last one will be a googly one. Describe Sameer in one line.
I think a witty person who's always curious to know more and more things in life.
Wow. Let's go to the next round and have some fun. The rapid fire round. Arbitration or litigation?
I think I'd choose the hybrid process. A mix of both.
Early morning court sessions or late night drafting?
Early morning.
Your go-to comfort food?
My Punjabi food.
Which one?
Rajma chawal.
Your favorite color?
Black.
Favorite piece of advice, best piece of advice received?
I think, on a humor side, by my parents to get married last year.
One thing law school doesn't prepare you for?
I'd say two things. One is to present arguments in court, because while students do participate in these moot court activities and all, but I think there should be a curriculum where there is a professor or a teacher or a practitioner who's also teaching students how to present yourself in court. At the same time, how do you draft real pleadings? Because you do learn theoretical things in college alongside some practical aspects, but drafting pleadings, drafting contracts, drafting real documents is not something, I think, as a part of curriculum which has evolved now. So these are two things I think law school should consider.
Wow. Mumbai monsoons, you love them or hate them?
I love them. I love my drive during Bombay monsoon. If you go a little inside Maharashtra toward these ghats, they're just beautiful.
Yeah, I am.
And the greenery that you see, a lot of these clouds that comes down, and alongside the ghats, the drive is just beautiful.
Wow.
My favorite place during monsoon, just to add, is this small place called Nane Ghat. It's in Maharashtra. It takes about 4-5 hours from here. The drive is beautiful. The place is beautiful. Very low density, so you get that relaxed time. You can just go over a weekend and then come back after 2 days.
Wow. Your favorite color?
I just said black.
Sorry. Okay, I got what do you say, visualizing Nane Ghat. Okay, so tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Let's raise. So you did well, and here's your book.
Thank you so
Share
much.
it with your IT team and all those in your team who are using AI, which will help them to understand on how to use AI, what do you say, beautifully, and not get carried away. Yeah, by the way, one more. I did order because I know you would win it.
Thank you.
So, friends, it was a lovely conversation having with apna Sameer Bindra. In spite of this month being very hectic for him, he took out the time and uh, beautifully he explained the world of arbitration and how Moot competitions, he being a judge over there and he's giving back to the law students and how he has received. So this is what coffee speakers give back to society and writing, being contributing to various publications and his creative interest of mixing music, which will also have a live demo next time we meet in person and continue our conversations. So, what a coffee speakers have shared ke by being in a legal field is not that we don't have our creative or we don't have fun. And thanks for describing so many Mumbai street foods. So watch out this episode. This is what professional journey, personal journey, and their interest in life this coffee speakers bring to the table. So there are 400 plus coffee speakers who have shared their insights. Watch them, subscribe to the Coffee Corner Show on YouTube. If you want to be featured like Sameer Bindra and be invited in person, like he got lucky because there are few slots for doing in person at the Coffee Corner Show. So Sameer is one of the lucky ones. So visit our LinkedIn page, the Emerging India Forum, or website. DM, a team will invite you to have coffee conversation either on Zoom or in person. Thank you.